Sometimes what you got to say is beyond all words. Sometimes what you got to say is more than all words. More than no words. And maybe you find a moment to smile about that, 'cause you thought you were trying to avoid these types of situations where what you got to say is well beyond the words. Oh, that safety net, that place where you can describe what's happening, you know, when your personal experience goes to that place where you can't describe it with your words. Or when you go to a foreign land where you do not understand anything they're saying. Oh, when you see the people participating in this sacred dance of language we call love. Love we call the secret dance of language. We use all the words, and then the words are done, and we realize those words better be pointing to something, because what I need is love. What I need is love. Not the love that's disguised as jealousy. Or is that jealousy that disguises itself as love? How does that work? Oh, na 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 na. Yeah. May I find refuge? May we find refuge, nosotros may we find refuge, may we find refuge in the deepest heart, of love. May that be what this song is about. Going from desperation back to love. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Oh, slow it down a little bit more. Seeking refuge in the deepest heart. Seeking refuge in the deepest part. In the deepest heart. I bow to you, great mother, great mother. How can I learn respect for all of this? Please help me to learn respect, how to respect this earth, la tierra madre, how to respect my fellow human being. I have so much to learn. I have so much to learn about love and faith and hope. I have so much to learn about what it means to be a helpful person in this world. Great Father, great Father, have you seen Mother? Where did she go? I am humbled by life. And I am encouraged and by what I've seen on my travels, but by what I was allowed to experience, by the gift of life that I was given, the love that I was shown, all the love, every bit of love that I was shown. Thank you. Thank you. I give thanks. I communed with my South American brothers and sisters. And I hope that I showed them all some kind of honor and respect. And I acknowledge that I have much to learn, much to learn about life and how to move about on this planet in respectful ways. And I ask for deeper healing from that one spirit of love, that spirit of God, that spirit of life, that spirit, that great spirit, that holy one, the one love, as Bob Marley sings about. Yes? I offer myself to you. Build with me. Do with me as you will. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do your will. Please take from me my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of your power, your love, and your way of life. Great Father, great Mother, Christ, the cosmic mind, the Buddha mind, the Bodhisattva warrior, the acknowledgement that there is this rising up from deep within. Yes, there are certain things that some of us have come to be able to acknowledge together, a common language where we see that our paths are converging in this one currency. Should I call it that, a currency? This one, love, this one flow of love. This, do we exchange in it? Is it the true currency? Is it the currency that we've imitated in the past? What's that like? And how do we open ourselves to the greatest possible healing when we are born into a world where we have lost our way? What is it like to find one's way in a world which has lost its way? I do not claim any level of achievement, but I have heard of this possibility that we may transcend the self, become a transcendentalist. We become nothing. Whatever we choose to not try to save our own life, and therefore somehow we find. I've heard these words, right? And they've spoken to me of salvation, of healing, of wholeness, of wellness, of goodness, of hope and faith and love. And so that is what I have. It's just that sentiment, today. And this mandolin. Sometimes we get in our limit situations where we lose our capacity to describe what's happening with words, and because that is the final outcome, is the transcendence of the spoken and communion with the one that is unobjectifiable. Yes? This is just, I've heard these things from several sources. And how do we escape that pull of the self? You can seek it, I hear. You can want it, freedom from suffering. Nobody really wants to hurt. But then we find ourselves going back to the pain and the suffering. I've heard that we get used to it. We get used to it. It is our identity, and we have a hard time releasing the suffering. What is the suffering? I have heard that it is the I have heard that it is the illusion of the separate self. I've heard that we work out our salvation with fear and trembling. Fear and trembling. Fear and trembling. We work out our salvation with fear and trembling. Our voices shake and our hands begin to quake. Our voices tremble. Ooh. Our voices tremble. Did the Christ show us how to die well? Is there a story of the death of self in the story of Christ? Is it not a calling? Is that not a universal calling to release the self so that we can be relieved of ourselves and thereby we become a healer in this world? I think I've read that the Christ did not come for those who are well, but for those who are sick. And I have certainly identified with that sickness. And there have been moments when I felt that I've disidentified with it. And then somehow through one way or another, I kind of invite it back in. And then we remember, there is choice, there is forgiveness, there is love, there is hope, there is a stillness. There is a stillness. I have discovered and rediscovered and lost and found this stillness many times. And I guess the sages say that we can remain there, right? That we can become that. And I suppose, why do we want to become that? If there can be any want in all of this, because who is wanting, right? Who is doing that wanting? Is it that the ego? As long as there's desire, then who? How do we divide ourselves? Well, they say there is no one to divide, right? There is no division. That's the problem, is we think we're separate. There is no separate God and separate I, right? That's why I suffer, is Christ knew I and the Father are one. Right? Somos uno, we are one, nosotros. So in this theosis, this union, this yoga with God, we somehow are relieved of our suffering and are simultaneously healers, yes? And we all know ourselves in this moment when we embody that healer. Many of us do. And then if you are one who seems to return to the suffering, then we become creative about finding our way back to the light. Is there a life of an artist there? Is there a place where the artist is maybe exploring spirit? Is that, or maybe the spirit person is artist? Yes. These are things I'm interested in. Are you? I'm curious about all of these things. These where the personal transcends and becomes the universal story. What part of our story can we tell that will be universal, that people will know their story in that story that we hear? Yes. We see that divine pull in our lives. We experience that which is deeper than us, which is bringing us along on a journey. And some of us, we pray that we will trust. May I know what trust is. May I trust that flow. May I trust the eternal. Whatever this life is, may I offer it in service to my community. How may I serve you? How may I serve you? How may I serve the one, this interdependent weave, this one being, this oneness of being that we are all held in, this perfect love, the true part of us, the deepest parts of us, yes? We use these words and they're fingers pointing to the moon. It's not about the words. What are we looking at? And can we close our eyes and see? Is that why we close our eyes, is to take this world out and to look inward? May we experience this healing together.